Hello and welcome to DallasWeekly.com. I'm Patrick Washington, CEO and co-publisher. Today we are talking with Yafeuh Balogun and Brother Shaw about the Botham Jean Memorial Committee. This committee has been active in changing the name of the street that Botham Jean was unfortunately killed on, and also putting a lot of activism behind the messaging of police brutality, of community unity, and other things. So thank you, brothers, for joining us.
Appreciate you.
All right. I know we got everybody's on their phone, but tell me a little bit about the committee and what is the goal of the Botham Jean Memorial Committee thus far. And let's start with you, Yafeuh.
Okay. The Botham Jean Memorial Committee primary mission, first and foremost, is to expose the contradiction of what happened on September 6, 2018, as far as the murder of Botham Jean in his apartment. Is to put forth that issue, to expose it, so the people across the city, the people across the world can realize that what happened on that date was a grave atrocity. Second thing, of course, is we want to rename a street in honor of Botham Jean, and principally we chose Lamar Street. And the reason we chose Lamar Street, obviously, because the police headquarters is on Lamar, obviously because he lived on Lamar, and thirdly, because Lamar was a Confederate leader. And we find this to be a contradiction to what's currently going on around the world. We feel that these types of monuments, situations related to Confederate soldiers, should be changed and should be put in place something that represents equality, something that represents freedom, something that represents liberation. And we think that Botham Jean is the best candidate to change Lamar Street, and so that's the reason that we decided to change the street.
Awesome. And Brother Shaw, you have been active in the community. You've been arrested several times. Can you tell us how you got involved and what you hope to achieve being involved with the Botham Jean Memorial Committee?
Well, I guess I was naturally involved by being part of the Dallas Nine, part of those who were arrested for protesting for the murder of Botham Jean, as well as O'Shea Terry. And, what kept me sticking with is, just the necessity, time and time again, the city or, people who represent the city, continue to do travesties amongst those that they say they're supposed to serve. So I feel like, this is a means, just the city showing solidarity with the community, with its everyday citizens. So, I just want to be a part of that. And who else? Who better but Botham? Who better than Botham Jean to do that?
Okay. What has been sort of the community's attitude towards this push? Has there been a lot of positive support? And if so, how does that encourage y'all to do more?
Well, from my vantage point, I've seen nothing but support from the community. Other than like on Facebook, you'll see like some white people kind of upset. Other than that, but it's also vice versa. There's also white people who are very, very in support. So I just think it's a very small community that doesn't support, but the overwhelming support is definitely coming from everyday citizens of Dallas and abroad.
Mm-hmm. And Yafeuh, what about you? Have you heard anything or had any interactions with folks that would lead you to believe other than what Brother Shaw said?
I think I've seen nothing but support. I concur with exactly what he stated. Nothing but support. I think that the leadership within the city would be out of their mind if they wouldn't change the name of Lamar Street to Botham Jean. Keep in mind, Botham lost his life. Nobody doubts that it was wrong. Amber Geiger went to jail. Nobody doubts that she should have been convicted. It's very easy. I mean, this is a very easy, sensible thing. And like I said, I've been a part of a lot of movements, and I've been on the radical end. But this here is something that even city council can agree with. This is something that the mayor can agree with. This is something that the city manager can support. This is something that the police chief can support. Rename the street. We've seen nothing but support in this process from beginning to end. And hopefully we'll continue to go forward with this support all the way till it reaches the council. And I'm looking forward to a 15-0 vote when it comes to the council.
Okay. And have either of you had any interactions with Botham Jean's family? I know they recently have put out another lawsuit against the apartment complex, and there's been some conversations about activities in the past as opposed to what's going on now with the family. Have y'all had any conversations or any interactions with his family thus far?
Yeah, they're actually the ones who gave us the blessing to
Okay.
even create the Botham Jean Memorial Committee, and for us to even do what we're doing. Like, we wouldn't have done this without initially getting the blessing from his mother, his father, and also his sister, Alisa Charles Finley, who's been very instrumental, in this process. We've been working with her, side by side. She's in New York, but we're on the ground for her, and we've been working as a team to get this done.
Okay. Awesome. And let's go back to the city and the city officials, the police department, et cetera. The community is in support. You said it's a positive reaction. What has been your reactions from city officials, city government, and specifically the police department?
I think I read a memo from the Dallas Police Department that essentially stated that they didn't take a really official position on the street name change, and this is possibly due to the fact that just going on around the country and even locally, the police are being exposed for some contradictions internally. I think that it would more or less embarrass the police to take an official negative position on the street name change. As far as city officials, I sent communication to Mayor Pro Tem Madrano on behalf of the Botham Jean Committee and sort of representing the family, so to speak, in regards to the street name change. And we got some immediate responses.
Mm-hmm.
I also sent communications to Casey Thomas, and Casey Thomas on Facebook and here recently publicly said that he supported. And so I think slowly but surely we've gotten some support from the city. I recently saw where the mayor made September 29th Be Like Bo Day, which sort of symbolizes that he may be leaning towards our direction if this vote would be today to change the street name. So I think this is something that's very easy to understand. I think the city, frankly, wants to put the issue Botham Jean to rest, and so this is a strategic way for them to do it, so to speak, but must realize that the community has to use this as an organizing tool. The community has to use this as an organizing tool to do other things from. And so this initiative, I want people to know, came directly from the community. This initiative came directly from the people. We pushed this, the Botham Jean Memorial Committee. There's other members that are involved and have been engaged with it throughout the process. And so we've seen nothing but support. We can't wait till it actually changes. That's pretty much it. We're happy that it's moving very briskly through the process. And so this is something I'm very happy about, and I'm glad that I have elders and other people such as Marvin Crenshaw who have guided the way through this process.
And what's y'all's timetable for this? Like, what's the preferred date of all things happening and finalizing everything?
September 17th, it'll go through the sub review committee, and I expect it fully to gain support. Then it'll go through after that. A little bit later, probably a couple of weeks later, maybe a little more, it'll go through the full city planning commission. And right now, with the sub review committee, those are the planning commissioners right now. So if it gets through the sub review committee, again, they just had a meeting here a few days ago where we had nothing but support. We only had one naysayer that actually wrote a letter, but other than that, there was full support of people over the phone, full support from businesses that were actually in support of the name change. Mm-hmm. And so our timetable, we expect a full vote by the city council, probably just shy of the beginning of 2021. And so it's going to make its way through the process. And as it's making the way through the process, we're employing people to reach out to their city council representatives, all districts. We're employing people to talk to other city leaders to ask if they support it. And so I think people are beginning to come out publicly. I saw Representative Sherman in DeSoto come out and speak publicly in favor, and even he had created legislation, Be Like Bo, that he's going to implement on a statewide level to, deal with people being able to defend their homes in situations like when Alma Geiger invaded Botham Jean space. So we're hoping that at the end of this year, that this thing comes a full vote and within the city council. And really, we're hoping for a 15-0 vote, and that includes the mayor as well, because this is something that's very easy to do, very understandable. And like I said, even the mayor himself, Eric Johnson, on September 29th has proposed Be Like Bo Day. And so that's what we're standing firm on. This is something that the city leaders can potentially unify behind, and that's what we're hoping.
Awesome. And my final question, y'all, is what are the next steps? So we got this plan, which seems to be like it's going to go forward through, but we all know that we have issues in our community with law enforcement, city officials, et cetera, and y'all are on the forefront of that. So what would be the next step after Botham Jean street name is changed?
Wait, I don't know if Davante want to answer that, but I definitely have an answer for it.
Hey, Brother Shaw, did you have an answer for that?
Sure. I was gonna let the brother speak or whatever. Yeah, I mean, my position is pretty much just, like you said, there's issues with law enforcement, city officials, things of that nature. So, I think naturally it just makes sense to run for office, get people who think like us, who are motivated like us, and who have the community first, like people like myself and Yafeuh do. And we need to fill those seats, because we can try to trust these representatives or try to pick between the worst of two evils. But, if we believe in ourselves and our ability to change our environments, then, I think that's really, really the step. We ran last year for City Council District 3. We'll definitely be running again this year, where, 2021, to take political power, in our city, because, those who have been in leadership for so long have dropped the ball, in my opinion. And I feel like, just 2020 going forward, Dallas needs new leadership, needs fresh ideas, needs people who are going to put the community first. And, I think myself and Yafeuh's background and our track record kind of, goes to show that there are people out there that exist that are willing to take, extra responsibility. So ultimately, I think, we need to take responsibility for our own community. And, what if that means, have these community events or community, whatever, what I'm saying, as well as engage the political apparatus of, the city. So we're going to do both. We're going to be in the streets and we're going to be in the political seats. You know what I'm talking
about? Awesome. Did you want to add to that, Yafeuh?
Well, like I said, I just, my potential involvement is to continue to be an advocate for the community. There's a number of different issues. One thing I want to say is that what may not be as publicly known is that Davante led a community-based patrol in Highland Hills for 5 months in Highland Hills. A lot of people may not be as familiar with that, but I hear a lot of people talk about crime that may exist in the community. I hear a lot of people talk about police brutality, which sometimes we say is a euphemism for police terrorism. Davante led the way in patrolling Highland Hills and the Greens, and were very active in the Pinks and creating mutual aid programs, things of this nature. And so these types of initiatives are power bases. And so as we try to involve different people around the city to get involved in local level politics, as Davante stated, we will continue to kind of lead the way on the ground and grassroots efforts, which we think is very important. Have the ability to be able to patrol your own community is important. To interact with the community is very important. We see a lot of single mothers that need assistance, and we've provided Pampers and things of this nature for them. We see a lot of brothers in the community. They may have some internal conflict, and we've been there to kind of create a situation where there's not as much conflict, more or less, stopping the violence, if you will, in the community. So these things we'll continue to do. And also, as we stated, we will be seeking leadership within the city and developing leadership so that we can actually put forth a platform, which our platform is really empowering the people. And as the slogan says, power to the people. That's what our mission is.
Awesome. And we do appreciate the hard work and the activism and the community engagement. I don't have any more questions, but I'd just like to say thank you all for the work you've done and joining us today to tell the people what's been going on. All this will be found on dallasweekly.com. You can find it on social media, and we'll be keeping up with this story and more that these gentlemen are doing in the future. So again, thank you guys, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.